I'm Christy. Today I want to talk to you about how long to monitor social media. So when I started thinking about content for this year, I really couldn't come up with any ideas. So I did what all good parents do. I asked a friend for input. Now she recommended this series. Over the next few weeks, we'll take a look at several of the different social media platforms and see what parental controls or monitoring they offer, how to set them up, that kind of thing. Now, I need to start by saying I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing here, and I'm going to have to research this one a lot. I haven't looked at how to do this on each of the sites individually. Instead, I've gone with a separate app that monitors things for me. I'll get into more of that next week. Now, I also want to thank my friend for giving me this idea. I never would have thought of it myself. But that's the beauty of community and friends. Together, we come up with lots more good ideas on so many different topics. Now, I suppose the first question to ask when looking at the topic is whether or not we should monitor our loved one's activity on social media. On the one hand, they're adults and should therefore be allowed to make their own decisions and choices. Most typical adults would expect to be treated this way, and rightfully so. But we all know that many of our loved ones are definitely not typical adults. Now, on the other hand, many of our loved ones don't function on an adult level, and many of them function on a child's level, not even reaching the teen level yet. Most parents wouldn't think twice about monitoring their child's social media usage if they're allowed on social media at all. And thus, the conundrum that we live in. Where's the balance? Great question. Unfortunately, I'm not sure I have a good answer for you. This is definitely one area that will vary from family to family and potentially even person to person within the same family. This is really no different than typical families, though, who decide that one child is mature enough to handle some aspects of social media, while another child not quite ready for that responsibility yet. So how do we balance all of these issues and decide what's best for our loved one? Tough question. And it's a touchy one in a lot of families. So here are some key questions that I would start with. Does social media interest your loved one? If there's no interest, I'd avoid it for as long as possible. Why create issues for yourself? What platform or platforms interest your loved one? Some of them are relatively harmless. Others, not quite so much. Does your family already have rules in place on when a person can start on social media and or which ones are allowed? And if so, are those parameters set up so that they're not age-related, but they're ability or responsibility-related? And does your loved one meet those requirements? Do you have parental controls already in place to help you monitor usage? Will they help prevent unwanted things from being seen? Finally, what devices will your loved one use to access social media? Could you put parental controls on those devices to help protect your loved one? Now, personally, I think some social media platforms can be a good learning experience for our loved ones, and they can also provide some social interactions. Yes, there is risk involved. And yes, there are absolutely some that I still don't allow my boys to be on. For those, we made the family decision for not allowing them. Fortunately, AJ is unaware of most of them, so it's not really been an issue for us. We have allowed Instagram and Facebook, and therefore Messenger. Both boys have accounts, but one of our rules is that they have to allow us to be friends, and they can't block us. Honestly, AJ's use of these platforms is pretty innocent. He follows a bunch of vehicle pages, shocker, or not really, developers and modders for the games that he plays, and shows that he likes, like Paw Patrol or PJ Masks. Like I said, pretty innocent. The one issue that we have had with AJ, though, is messaging people repeatedly. Now, I'm less concerned if it's a Paw Patrol-related person or account. But when it's a real-life person or a modder, I do try to monitor it more closely, and I'm working to teach him what appropriate contact looks like. I've also told the other person when I've become aware of them that they are free to ignore him if it becomes obsessive, but a quick response every now and then would be appreciated. Personally, I try to live by this rule. If it's something that I would want someone else to do for AJ, then I try to do it for others with special needs. I hold to this in my social media interactions with those with special needs. So there, in a nutshell, is where I stand. Now, over the next few weeks, we'll take a look at specific apps and or platforms. If you have any specific platform or questions that you'd like me to tackle, you can shoot me an email at Christy, Christy, at havenofhopeforme.com. You can leave me a comment below, or you can leave me a comment over on the blog. That's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This post originally posted in January of 2021. I'll do my best to answer you. Which leads me to my question for this week. What have you decided about social media for your loved one? I'd love to hear about it. Again, you can leave me a comment below or a comment over on the blog from January of 2021. Maybe your comment will trigger something new that I haven't thought of yet. As I struggle to balance AJ's use of social media, I work to continue to say that life is good and there is never a dull moment.